Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gears of War Pro League. We are about to kick off our last matchup of the day. But up until this point, we have had some fantastic series. We watched Rise take Elevate down 2-0. Carnage defeated UYU 2-1. And then we just saw a crazy series between Pittsburgh Knights and Rebel that went down to the last map. But wait, there is actually one more. Fire and Ice gave VQ their first loss as well. We got a chance to see that early on in the day. So crazy day. And now it's time to see if Hive can take down Noble. Jacob, these two teams have had some struggles kicking off this pro league. Why is that?
I mean, on the side of Noble, you can kind of see they had some subs. They were looking hot in the beginning. I do believe they kind of dominated Rise, if I remember correctly. And then they fell to that second matchup that was kind of off in our side stations. But since then, they kind of had to play with subs. Things haven't been going right. I think it was Jay Var. He really stepped up to the plate. He is a huge slaying powerhouse for the squad. But now they have everything together. Abolics is back. There are no more excuses here when they go up against Hive.
Yeah, no excuses indeed. We got a chance to see them. I think that was the UYU series you're referring to, that close series against them early on in the pro league. And so now we get a chance to see these guys go against each other. But if it's one player on Noble who is going to have to turn this series around and turn their season around, it's the guy who's sitting at number 3 on the KDA leaderboard. It's that man, Xysho. I believe we were missing him last week. One of these weeks, he was not here. But Noble, they're back as a unit, all 5 players here, and he is going to be leading the charge.
Yep, and look at right now. His total kills 124, dropping a double-double at 2.46 KDA. Now, that's one thing that you do like to highlight. And you compare this to a lot of our other players that have a 200-plus kills, even 200 at the high mark. To me, that shows that he's not necessarily dying as much. So, obviously, he's not dropping a 30-bomb, 15-bomb, 20-bomb, but he's not dying. He's staying alive. He's making sure his enemy team has to worry about him so much. And then on top of that, he does have that big play potential. I've seen him save some big rounds before in the past that took home some victories, and I'm looking for him to do that here again today against Hive.
Yeah, and that's pretty much consistency that I see out of those numbers from him, because Noble is a team that they win and they lose together, okay? At the end of the day, this squad doesn't have too many individual superstars that we see on some of the other squads, but it's okay because it fits into their play style and it fits into the culture of this Noble squad. So let's see what maps they're going to be playing on for this series against Hive here. It's going to be Hive taking Forge, Noble taking District, and Hive choosing between Vasgar and Training Grounds. And they say, you know what? We want to go to Training Grounds to end this series off. Now, based off these teams' play style, Hive being more on the aggressive side, Noble being more on the passive side, how does this map layout stack up for these teams?
Honestly, because of Noble's absent fifth player, whether it's Xysho, whether it's Abolics, they kind of got it to start getting heated up. They're not going to be firing on all cylinders out of the gate, or at least I don't think so. On the side of Hive, they've had some struggles. A lot of it has rested on Shock's performance. You saw that big play on Emergence Day a few weeks ago where he took out Vanquish. I do think he dropped a 30 bomb. That's not easy to achieve in this game like it was in Gears of War 4. So when I look at both of these squads, look at the map selection, I do think it actually favors Hive. I thought maybe Noble would take it, especially since they have the sub back, but I never really switched up things. Hive right now does seem like the strong team. I think the maps do favor them, but honestly, I need to take a few more moments for my prediction plays because these teams have very, very similar play styles that it's kind of hard to draw that line in the sand.
Yeah, it is kind of hard to draw it, right? It is it's going to be a tough series between these two, but it's time for predictions. And when I was thinking about this, and I was like, all right, which side of the fence am I going to lean towards for somebody to come out on top? I feel like I've been good at taking some chances in some of my picks to get out into the lead, in which I have. But, to me, they ain't felt like chances. I'm like, 100% these guys win it this week, But for this series, I think the map layout actually favors Noble. Now, I made my decision before I saw the map layout, and I'm gonna lock it in once again. I say Noble, they come out on top with this one. And the map layout, the maps that we're about to play just reinforces that for me. District training grounds are two strong maps. I think are going to be very well for Noble. We saw the performance in which they had against UIU before, they went to a round 9 in week number 2 of the Pro League. So we know that they can play forward. But Hive, it seems like if Shock does not have an all-star day where he is slaying out, that sometimes the rest of the team will fall short just a bit. We'll see if this is the week where Toti picks up his slaying and the rest of the squad can really get there. And even Noe is kind of fitting into that front spawn role and being more consistent there. But we'll see if this is the week. But ultimately, I'm saying Noble for my pick.
And Blaze, I want to say that's a good pick. I really do want to say that's a good pick. But there's one man that doesn't agree with you besides myself, of course.
Who is it?
It's that man Shock. You talk about he needs to have an all-star performance for his team. I think he is going to have that performance. I just think this time around, this week, he's going to have a little bit of help. I think Noe, a.k.a. Xovios, is going to step up. I think that man Toti is going to step up. Demise, he's usually pretty consistent. So this roster, and I know I'm forgetting one of them, but he's gonna make me remember his name.
SoLuRs.
It's SoLuRs. I can't believe I forgot SoLuRs' name from him, especially since I played some lands. I know what that man is made of. He brings that championship caliber experience. To me, the one thing that I think is going to propel Hive over this Noble squad above and beyond everything that I kind of just mentioned is Shock's leadership. So you talk about needing an MVP performance, we're going to see him slay out. But if we had a listening, I'm pretty sure we'd see him be the IGL MVP. So my prediction is going to be for Hive. I do think it's going to be a close match like we've seen all day, but the Beehive is going to go ahead and sting some people today.
All right, so now this is the first time all day long where me and you have not been in agreement with who's going to come out on top. Now, chat, you guys have been agreeing with us all day as well. So you got to break the tie. Who's coming out on top of this one? Who is it? Let me know. Coming in.
Yes.
Hive. They say Hive is going to lock down Noble. All right.
Almost doesn't matter though, Blaze, because you have a better record than me and chat.
Hey, I showed y'all up with my Apricity vote last week when who was it that Apricity went up against? Not the People's Champ. When they went up against Noble, okay? Apricity took down Noble last week where I got the victory. But this time around, I think Noble was upset off of that one. They didn't have the whole squad, but now it's time for them to turn up, show us what they're made of in our premier match of the night between these two. And I feel like Noble, today is their day to get a win, okay? They are so talented, especially with Lava being on their squad. It's just been some unfortunate chain of events for them and for them to start off the season. Now, going to Forge, we've seen Noble be able to compete against UIU here, and we've seen that they have the foundation to be a fantastic team. But who will you gear map number 1 towards? And it is Hive's map pick.
I almost got to go ahead and go over towards Hive. I think these two players that play up top, the two players that play in the middle, they're going to be ready for almost any altercation, whether up top, I talk about due to the banning of the Talons and the Bulltalk, there's a little bit more diversity up there. I know typically we see a lot of players play towards that button, they play aggressive, but there's different openings towards the low side where you can pistol people out, you can Lancer them. And if you look at the players on Hive, specifically Noe, specifically Shock, they play a ton of those wagers, so they have a ton of experience with their standard weapons.
Man, my man Toti been playing 1v1s all night. I was watching the stream. He ready for the day. He's locked in. Now, here we go. Up top tower. We got a 2-2-1 split. All fights being fought in all 3 lanes, but who gets the first blood? It happens in the middle. It's number 4. It's Toti able to take down Shock. Xysho takes down SoLuRs. So B-Hill capped up. We're going to see a transition down low here for Noble to cap up the remaining heals. And they're now going to get up top as Hive choosing to back out of here. Xovios and Demise, they wanted no parts of that fight. But in a sense, they almost got to fight it. They need some control on this map for their team, but they're staying alive. And, it's the reason why they're in the Pro League and I'm not. Because they're still in position to contest. But they got to be quick. If B gets decap, these 2 players are out of play now.
I was about to say, Gearries is just wasting time upon time. During all of this, Noble was able to capture 2 hills. Shock was able to get the neutral hill back, but at the cost of his own home hill. Now, if you look at the overhead map towards the bottom half, you see the stacking right now of Noble on this side of the map of Hive. And I talk about this power position, 2 players kind of getting set up. At least 1 player is going to stay there the whole time. You're going to see how effective Toti is going to be, but that flank coming through, that's going to be a big flank opportunity for Demise. He's going to be able to get a kill. He's actually able to get 1. SoLuRs helping him. They're able to pick up a down on another player. Shock and SoLuRs working together, solidify those 2 kills. Flank coming through from Shock. That is going to be 3 members dead from Shock and SoLuRs. A 4th one's going to go down as well. So a good opportunity for Hive to not only get back on the field, but get the lead on over to their side. They trail roughly 30+ points.
All right, trip cap domination coming through for Hive. Noble off the respawn. Looking to get it back. This 1v1 is going to be won by Shock and electric of Noble. So that gives him a quick access right to the home hill, and he has some angles as well. Noble needs to figure out how to get through the other side of their spawn if they choose to. Waiting for Gearries to come off respawn. They have plenty to use in Xysho, Gearries, and Toti. Because by the end of this round, you want to be at 2, right? So this is going to be the last team fight, depending on how it breaks down. Looking for entry. I love Hive's composure right here, right? They got Noble in a headlock pretty much. Noble can't get out of this spot. But Hive is like, we're cool standing here. We don't need to end the round. We just need to keep the pressure on you guys.
A little bit too much pressure, if you ask me. Everybody getting eliminated left and right. 4 members dead from Hive. This is the late portions of the game. That is one of the last things you want to have happen, especially due to that long respawn times. I agree with you, Blaze. That is definitely it. Demise, he needs a miracle, and he can't even capture this hill after this is all said and done. He gets Lancered out. The hill is going to be capped on the home hill. Shock does not get in time. It's all going to be captured. Chunks going left and right, but it is going to come through. Noble with the triple cap domination in round number 1, and it almost went down to the wire, Blaze. 3 minutes and 11 seconds.
Man, that hurts if you voted for Hive to win this series, okay? But for me, I knew that might happen. I knew it might happen, you know, but regardless of that and how we predicted, it was a hard-fought round. But Hive had Noble back against the wall. I was looking at the minimap like, how the hell does Noble get out of this position? Hive even got a few key downs there in that spot, but Toti managed to make his way through electronics, get behind Hive, and then ultimately, with this being the highest respawn round of the first half, once those kills came out in quick succession, the remaining 4 members of Noble were able to win their respective fights and close this one out. Hive needs to have some composure and not let that one get to them, okay? So we're seeing off the break, we got another 2-2-1 between both these squads. Last time, the fight was won in the middle by Toti, getting a little aggressive at the underpass, utilizing his right-hand advantage. But up top, Gearries has angles on Xovios. He's going to get the down on Demise, and he can Lancer down and help his teammates. SoLuRs in a difficult spot. He's made quick work out of by the entire Noble squad, focusing on him. And now we see 2 players go on to C, make it 3. B getting capped up. This is looking like another round here for Noble.
Just making all the right moves at the right time. Toti goes down. Xovios is able to get a kill, gets up aid. Soul is gone. Demise meeting the same fate. SoLuRs for a last second touch. He's going to go ahead and go down. Abolics with the melee. 49 seconds. Much quicker than the last round. Noble chaining things together, and with their full 5-man roster, they're back where they left off.
Noble, 2 quick rounds after the last team fight that we saw in the last. From that point on, they clearly took the momentum over in this round. They won their fights a lot faster this time around than they did in the first half. So looking at the placement, and Noble is going to choose the smoke in the center line. So this is the same way that our last series started off between Rebel and PK. And Rebel had the advantage with their weapon selections not going with double loadout. Now, a big part of that was because PK put Torque Bow up top and tower. We'll see if Hive wants to do some of the same. Quick down. The focus fire from Noble off the start got him off to a clear advantage, to the point where they're going to passively play up top a little bit, but not too passively. They just want to give their teammates time to work the kills down low. That's exactly what they do. Noble does not have to engage in this fight up top, but still, they go for it. Lava disengages. Gary takes the L for the team, and now they're on top of the home hill. Lava in position to help defend B in the 2v2 fight. But it's also a 2v2 fight at A. Depends on if Abolics and Toti want to go for the heal or go for the kills. One stay for the heal, the other two drop back to clean up the kills at B, and they shall do that with the double down. 1v1 won by Shock there to take out Abolics to keep Hive in this round.
This is going to be big. Shock has to make the right plays. So far, nobody really making the right rotations on the side of Hive, but now is the chance. You're going to get all 5 people up. You're kind of funneling onto your side, but that's just for now. You need to make sure you don't get caught off guard. You need to figure out where these players are hiding. You see Toti getting spotted out, a ton of damage being put out, but not able to clean up that down as inch by inch, Hive is fighting for every little bit, but you see the overextension from home hill to home hill. This is going to be a great attempt coming through. Only one player realistically in that power position with a second player on the side, but they need to make sure to watch out for that flank. Look at all the way deep through A. They went around the spawn. So if they get stopped right here, this will be another noble win.
Hive, they got to fight their way out of the situation. Backs against the wall. SoLuRs versus Xovios. He hits the melee, but Xovios hits the shot. That was Xysho, actually. You can't fight teammates, right? It was a different X, folks. You know, it's online. Now,
yeah,
it's hard to see the names, right, when we're casting sometimes. But Toti, he's able to clean up the kill, gets the revive here. And now Noble, they can hold strong for now. But Hive has majority of the heals. Tidy actually decided to go for the fight. He knew 2 players were going to cut from middle. And he saw 2 players in on his side. So he tried to find the best route out of that situation. Now, regardless of what happened, Demise managed to get 2 kills. He wants the 3rd, but Gearries finishes him off. He was fighting from the left hand, disadvantage, but he made it his own. He took another fight off his left hand. Can he get the one on the right? He goes left again, and he gets him. Oh, you want one more? You get some help from your teammate. Noble win by way of elimination. They get 3 in a row.
I'm sitting here thinking, like, Blaze, is it too late to take my prediction back? Can we go ahead and switch that logo over? We both voted for Noble, right? I started on Noble way back in the day.
Yeah, we both
one of my
did.
first sponsored teams. Let's go, Noble. Woo! 3-0 lead.
It's not over yet, but so far you in the chat, you know, you guys are on the edges of your seats for this one. But hey, it works out because Hive needs all that positive energy. They need some people rooting for them. And they got plenty coming into this series. Now they just have to perform. They cannot be their worst enemies here. These players are so talented across this team, but they need to get faster. They need to have more trust in each other and themselves. Now we got the torque bow placed, just like how we kind of predicted it. Weapon placement is exactly similar to the Rebel and PK matchup we just got done watching. For now, we'll see how it breaks down in the last few rounds, but Demise gets his favorite weapon of choice. Let's see what he can do with it.
See the difference of strategy. Off the initial, 3 members up top for Hive, and that's what kind of got them to torque bow. The first one, not connected with anything. Second one already revving up. Hopefully he can at least get some splash damage, but a connection is going to be even better as he takes out Gearries. Tons of damage being poured out, but he gets caught out of positioning with that Marcha. You see the amount of damage it can provide for your squad. Players are forced to backtrack to get these revives, or else you can even get headshotted with that Marcha on the ground. As Xysho putting a big shoddy shot down, and the way he's hiding in this cubby is almost perfect. Some players would have heard that down.
He want to slide. Yeah, he want to slide into that cover. Yep. You want to do a pop shot over the top, but this is Noble we're talking about. They're a little bit more composed. They don't take too many risky plays like that. They're going to win and lose as a unit. Now, staying alive, guarding B. Up top, you're going to get Noble getting control, so they know the flank's coming through. Xysho's going to move in position. Gearries with the cross, planted from a safe distance. He gets the kills, and domination coming through. 2 members remaining alive for Hive. Can they make it to the hill in time? They shall not.
They're going to actually buy some time, but it was just a mirage. It was fake. It was never there. They're going insane, Blaze. They're seeing things. They thought they saw some hope, but it's actually being crushed by Noble. 4-0. I didn't think we would see a 4-0 domination like this, especially with all the close matches we've had all day, but no answer being given from Hive. I thought we'd see IGL Shock kind of step up, going ahead and being the slaying powerhouse he needs. But Noble, like I said, playing with a couple subs the previous weeks. They get their 5-man roster back, and they are not missing a beat, playing almost perfect here in this matchup.
Ooh, Noble, man. These boys apply pressure. Hive, they're gonna put the drop shot down middle. This is gonna give us a similar fight that we saw before. This actually may give us a 1-3-1 on the map as far as how the players are split. Noble thought about capping a home hill, but they saw Hive did not, so they brought their numbers to match the fight. And that's exactly what we're gonna see. Noble has an extra guy up top. Hive has an extra guy down low. They gotta get the respective power weapons. Lava gets the bow, and he can prevent the drop from getting picked up. If Hive cannot do anything to stop him, and he has it loaded, he's like, hey, I'm chilling here. My teammates watching my back. All I gotta do is watch the drop shot. We got 2 heals already.
Just needs to buy enough time for those teammates that did die to spawn and get back up into position so they can then watch the drop shot. And this is where Lava's going to have to either get that free reign with the torque bow towards the top sword, or he can rotate it down low. The choices for Noble are endless. And if you already look to have 2 hills under their control, torque bow revving up, sneaky plays trying to happen. Ooh. I do believe that was shot caught out of position. He gets torque bow nonetheless. Splash damage is going to be huge. Gearries basically is going to be the one credited for that kill. He gets another down on Demise. Drop shot in the hand of Xysho. Noble looking to close this one out. That's going to be a big double kill. 4 members dead. SoLuRs all by himself. And SoLuRs goes down as well. 5 members dead. Noble complete the 5-0 sweep. Shock will not make it there in time.
He shall not. Noble comes out swinging in map number 1, trying to get us out of here at a decent time, but we're here all night, folks. Okay, I'm down for map number 3, just so you know. Noble.
Cancel my dinner reservation already.
I still need to decide what dinner is. Now we're about to head into map number 2 here soon, but not to get ahead of ourselves. Jacob, you're gonna have to break this one down for me. Number 1, where was the swing moment for Noble in this series? And 2, how did they keep the advantage?
I mean, the swing moment was the moment Abolics decided to play and do a 5-man roster. And the key moment was as soon as Meerkat started the game. That was the key moment, whoever was hosted. Because honestly, I can't even realistically break down that game too much, because from the moment these initials started, it was Noble just completely and utterly destroying the opposition of Hive. They didn't really let them get up as 5. There was no real teamwork. And if you really looked at that match, aside from that one round where Noble was set up and kind of tossed it away with those Lancers, they weren't Lancer heavy. They weren't working together as a team. There were so many things done wrong on the side of Hive. Noble just basically had to show up, and they received the victory.
So I know the round in which you're talking about is that first round that Hive was set up with those Lancers, and they had Noble's back up against the spawn, right? And, at that point, I didn't think that Noble had any way of getting out of that first round trap. But once they did, because check this out, the trap was so good that once Noble got out of it, Hive's entire momentum was crushed for the rest of the map, okay? At that point, things were just getting thrown down. Noble beat him on the weapon selection because as Hive was putting down all these center line weapons, Noble had the Marksa, okay? And the Marksa was putting in some damage there. Over in that last round, that exact last round, we saw a mismatch in numbers. We saw Noble sitting 2 up top. They had a 2v1. Hive had a 3v2 down middle. But up top, you're going to get that torque bow so much quicker than you're going to quick pick that drop shot. And that's the thing. You can't quick pick the drop shot first, but you have to go for the quick pick. Hive didn't go for it. They played for kills. Lava hit them on lockdown. Lockdown long enough for his teammates to come off respawn and get them that round number 5. But ultimately, Noble, they won and they lost as a team. They didn't let nobody go down. They fought fights together. They didn't play for too much. They knew they had control of the game. And when Noble can see that win condition, they can see all the players in front of them, they very rarely, I feel like, make dumb mistakes. Yes, their record is 1-3, 1-2 is low, but that's not all their fault. And I'm not making excuses for them either. But we'll see what they can do going here into map number 2. It is going to be Noble's map pick. And, if I'm not mistaken, they did pick District.
Towards the end, it was District, yes. But this is where I begin to point out a little fact, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and mention UIU for just a quick second. You have Mental that kind of departed the team as a whole to take on new challenges within another scene, right? Shock, on the other hand, is doing the exact same thing, but he didn't depart the team. He actually switched rosters around, went for the Pioneers over to Hive. He's trying to juggle 2 games. I'm not saying that's above and beyond the problem or the reason why this team's going bad, but if you take less time away from another game, pour it into your team, go ahead and try to build off of what you were able to achieve early on in the season. But instead, it just doesn't seem like it's the case. A lot of these guys are practicing individually, and outside of scrims, I'm not even sure they're playing the game.
I don't want to piggyback on that one fully, but I will say I think that is a great point as far as the focus goes for this team. When it comes down to playing multiple different games, for me, I feel like Gears of War is like riding a bike. Even I can hop on after 3 months and start getting a few kills. It don't take too long to get warmed up in it. But regardless of that, I said it in the pre-show that even regardless of what Shock's been doing outside of playing Gears, he still made big plays for this squad, and he's put up some big numbers over these last few weeks. The other 4, I've said it before. I think that early in week number 1, I think probably even at the end of last season, that Demise has stepped up his game, and it's been fun watching him. Toti has been trying to slay more. SoLuRs has been, he's been doing a good job, being a jack of all trades, right? He has a lot of championships under his belt. He brings a certain level of composure and leadership to his team. Now, and then you got Xovios on the front spine. A lot over these last 2 weeks, we watched him get in respawn warnings and on respawn watch a lot. Low respawns early on in these halves, which has contributed to some of Hive's losses. So putting all of that together, I agree with what you said, that their teamwork and their chemistry needs to get up. Okay. That's them, because they got the skill. But as far as knocking down these objectives, having trust in each other, the communication, the awareness, they need to get back up to form as a unit. And I can't put it all on Shock for that. I can't put it all on Shock, but it's definitely a team issue here. All right. Yeah. Now we're moving on over to District. So Noble, this is their map pick, and it's looking a little bit scarier for Hive. Hive, we know that they can play this map. They've had some great series against some top teams in our league currently, but the way that Noble just slapped them up, it's going to be hard to get momentum going at map number 2. But also on the flip, I will say this on the flipping, that they got beat so bad that they can forget it that quickly, okay? And they need to take that energy into this next map and say, we will not go out like that. Let's give it all that we got and force a map 3.
And they have to start here. They have to start in round number 1. Like you said, you need to stop that momentum. If Noble wins round number 1, that's going to be danger, because then you're putting the pressure right back on kind of where you left off. And you got to hope Hive kicks Owen off the team, because they can't be going 0-5 again. That's just annihilation at its finest. But to kind of round out the day, maybe we want to see some quick domination, some quick utter destruction, but not when it's my pick on the line, not when it's Hive that I rooted for.
Yeah, Owen is definitely costing, okay? He is definitely costing. He's not even contributing, all right? But now, map number 1 is behind us. We got 2 maps left in our series in front. It's District, it's Training Grounds. Hive just needs to get to TG. They're a good Training Grounds team, okay? We also saw Noble bring out not a Mocher, but what is it called? A claw? Yeah, they brought out a claw.
I love that thing.
In the finals. I've been waiting for them to bring out a claw again, but they've been keeping that strat in their back pocket so people forget about it and they catch them off guard. We might not see it today, but Noble got strats on that map, and it also plays into their playstyle a bunch. Kicking this one off, yeah.
I was going to say, I'm just thinking still pregame by now. I'm thinking Rise or UIU is going to keep that one in the back pocket and possibly see that weapon center line if it does go that far in a major. But this match already kicking off. Noble has a huge lead, and I say a huge lead because that 1-0 hill capture, and they're holding true to their defense. There's no utility on the side of Hive that is directly here aside from, I think, maybe Shock if he does want to use this to try to regain their home hill back.
Number 3 and 4, they got to get
not even
B.
there, actually. They're not there.
Yeah, number 3 and 4 has to get B. They cannot sit on top of this hill because they don't want to walk down into the trap that Noble has at A. Noble is content with not capping A, but number 3 can't get onto B because 0 is watching across. That's lava. Hive is gonna make some mistakes trying to cap one of these hills, and Noble is in a perfect position, capitalizing. But as I say that, Shock gets some big kills with the help of SoLuRs. They're able to clean up these Noble members down low. They were in a bad spot, but they managed to find their way out of it. And that's just two veteran players making veteran plays.
Hopefully they can continue to do just that, because it's absolutely needed. 2 hills in favor of Hive. That's going to be both the home hills. Going for a triple cap domination. And I like the way Toti's just immediately rotating over. You're trying to put that extra force on the neck of Noble. That's going to be a triple kill from SoLuRs as he shuts down the opposition. And this is exactly the life we needed to see out of Hive, especially in round number 1. Stop all the momentum. Round number 2, you need to start building your momentum. But I know Noble, even without momentum on their side, they're still going to be fighting with every fiber of their being.
Man, Shock and SoLuRs took that round in their hands, because the way Noble played it off the start, they had them set up. It was similar to kind of how we saw of round number 1 of Forge. Now, the core 3 of Hive, we saw SoLuRs and Shock step up in that moment, but the core 3 of Hive, the ones who've been together for a while, Demise, Toti, Noe, those 3, they're gonna have to come together and be a unit, because they got 2 great acquisitions over the last offseason, over last season, right? And SoLuRs and Shock, 2 great players on this squad, but they're gonna have to utilize them well. They lost TJ and Hefe, but these 3 has been playing together for a while. We need to see what they're really about.
Yep, and now you see Noble already attacking the home hill yet again. I like this squad. They're very sure of their strategies. They're very sure of how they want to play each of these rounds, and they're very calculated, saving their flashes to the very last moment, and they go ahead and create deja vu. Last round we saw was Hive threatening it, getting that early decap, building a lead off of that. Now this time it's Noble, but instead of holding on to this one, it's actually Hive that strikes back, getting these eliminations, solidifying that hill, and having an open moment to take more.
That was a fantastic play from Hive, from getting themselves out of that difficult position. Now, they're trying to make their way towards B Hill, but Toti, he's watching it by himself for now, but he's waiting for reinforcements. He's done a great enough job to hold off for now. He goes for the chunk because he knew it was light work, misses the melee, gets the meat shield, connects with another melee, gets back into the fight, has to reload. No bullets left, but his teammate has his back. B Hill goes in favor of Noble.
We're stuck in this spot. Noble, and this is what I like too, they realize that once you get that man advantage, you got to keep pressing forward. You got to keep that man advantage on your side, keep staggering the death. That's going to be another example. SoLuRs is about to get up. Shock is taking it back down. So once again, a 5v4 is going to continue for just a few moments, but it's actually Noble choosing to back up just a little bit, getting a reset on their defenses, because they're guessing that the push is going to come through on this neutral. You see 2 people stacked up in Juice, 1 towards the low side, and even a 3rd player rotating towards the top half of the map, so Noble might have guessed correct.
All right, so now Noble, how do they want to play this? Well, they're playing it perfectly currently. The question that we got to ask ourselves is that how does Hive want to break this setup? Now, they're looking to possibly get towards mid-map. They want to make sure they can cause some commotion and Juice so they can distract these 2 Lancers that are currently watching it. Now, B Hill is going to be hard for Hive to get decapped because player number 9 has such a cross. It kind of baited Hive into playing for Lava. Lava can't stay alive, though. Xovios get revived. Xysho, we highlighted him earlier in this game for his consistency. He cannot take out the remaining 2 players in there. And now Noble, they win off of 1 hill. They have a 1v1 at A, 2v2 at B. They win both fights. They don't lose nothing. They don't lose anything, okay?
I was watching that save down low fight just like it. It didn't look like he had a good chance to get it, but that either way, that up top 2v2 fight that did go down, Noble did secure that victory, and they're going ahead and pairing it together. So I said Hive needed to win this round. They needed a moment to chain together some momentum, whether if it's big play or a big stop. They did not get it. Once again, Noble is controlling the pace of this game. They're going to add an extra bit of utility directly into their hands. They want to be prepared prepared at a moment's notice for anything that gets tossed at them, whether if it's a drop shot low or high side, whether it's another big weapon center line, whatever it may be. With those utility grenades, they are ready on almost any initial. It's about putting the pieces in the right spot. Chess, if some may say.
All right. Let's see if these players can get in a perfect position and play their position to perfection. They're going to need to. We're all tied up 1-1. It's a close series here. Hive finally got their first round there. Now, you see off this initial here, multiple members going down for Hive. Noble getting the revives. Now, the last two members of Hive are at B. They will be able to get this locked in. They need to make quick work of Toti because they cannot have him alive as the remaining members of Noble joins this fight. But Noble is going to choose to prioritize the A hill. Number 4 is camping inside Juice as well. Trip cap domination coming through.
Wow.
Hive will survive that for now.
For now, though, Blaze. Lava still putting in work. Xysho right there to follow. Abolics hops over the cover. Decap's going to continue. Cap is going to count up for a moment. So Two Hills going to continue to be in favor of Noble, and Xovios gets caught out again. These players on Hive need to start learning this Wolfpack mentality just a little bit more because their teamwork is not spot on. Their chemistry seems to be non-existent, and they seem to be fighting as individuals. Any individual stepping up to Noble will instantly be slapped down like you're watching. SoLuRs trying to make a play all by his lonesome towards the backside, unable to really make it happen. Even if he hops on the hill, Toti is waiting there to dig his grave and put him 6 feet deep.
Noble, they get 2 in a row. You got Shock leading the kill feed for his squad. 6 kills, 4 assists, 4 deaths. Gonna have to double up going into this last round. So looking at the weapon placement, both squads chose to go for utility. And the way that we're seeing Gears 5 Season 2 trends happening as far as weapon playouts go, we get double flashes on both secondaries before we typically see a big power weapon go on this map. Will that get changed now? Maybe the cinema fight is the change.
I want to see that drop shot low side, because putting that drop shot low and because of that first weapon placement due to Noble with that flash going high side, you put the drop shot low. They're still behind on weapon placement in terms of talking about that shot grenade. So putting that drop shot high side kind of helps Noble out, even though that's a fight that you want.
Well, Noble probably did their homework. They had a great coach in Jackal, who maybe knows that Hive may prefer this fight top cinema. Gearries gets first blood. He's bouncing around, looking for one more. Throwing some elbows. He connects. His teammates get their kills, but it's not over yet. SoLuRs got 2 in front. Trying to get a pop shot. Making sure not to stay on that cover and give a free shot to his opponent. Drop shot picked up. He's going to put some damage in, go in for the kill shot. Toti's in a difficult spot. His teammates can't relieve enough pressure. Drop down. Quick revive comes through. Both players go down. Hive. They will not get the drop shot, but they will get map control.
Toti did a good job of switching that one out right before he got down. So what could have been a good opportunity for Hive to get that kill and the drop shot. That's Toti knowing better, realizing the danger that he was in, and preparing for the worst. That's going to be a down on Shock, but quick revive from Demise. 2 Hills in favor of Hive. They know the rotation is coming low side. They kind of telegraphed this one coming through, but Toti gets past that Lancer fire. So that is going to be a setup possibility for Noble. It's all about taking that risk to hop into the hill and get the break. But while this is going down, Blaze, take note of that center plus top portion of the map. They have an opportunity to break off and go ahead and take an advantage fight here towards the Juice.
Now Hive, they're trying their best to defend their home hill. 3 members of Noble waiting outside here on the wings. They're trying to get Noble's trying to get a distraction there in Juice, but that player in Juice, number 1, he's holding Noble off for now. As Noble, they get proactive up top. They win one fight. They got a 2v1 on Shock. They will stun him with that nade. It slows Shock down a bit. He's holding his right hand. The damage was already done there. Demise shall fall now. Trip cap domination coming through. SoLuRs won't be able to make it back here in time. Noble get off to a 3-1 lead here in the first half. Jacob, what does Hive need to switch going to the second?
Everything. Roster, coach, weapon placement, mentality, a little bit of everything, to be honest, Blaze. All jokes aside, they're just getting dominated. And that round was pretty big for them because they were kind of leading in the round. That initial kind of went their way. Things were beginning to piece together, but Noble is just in the right place at the right time. And I talk about that Wolfpack learning to practice, to play together, whether if it's spoken, whether if it's called out, or whether it's kind of something you just know by seeing everything that goes down on the map. Noble has it down packed. And this is really reminding me of when Noble first made that roster change to add Toti, to add Jacko, how they took the Pro League by storm, getting 4th at the end of that one.
They have been building off that success from last season, and we get a chance to see it all come together once again. Gearries, he's looking to clean up a few kills in front of him. That's 4 members down of Hive. Xovios, he's running, but he can't get away. It's a drop coming over the top. If he doesn't get cleaned up, win by way of elimination in round number 1 for Noble. They have not stopped steamrolling Hive here.
Yeah, I admit defeat with my prediction.
Already? It's not over.
I think now is time. I mean, see, I think Hive has the potential to come back. I think they have the individual skill, they have the team skill in order to do it. But to be honest, Blaze, at this point in time, I don't believe they believe themselves or they believe in themselves. I think they're slowly giving up. You see the individuality coming through. You see a lot of the same exact thing round by round by round. Nothing is really changing on this side of Hive. Not even the little adjustments, not even the little inches. It's just all the same all the time. Hopefully this shot grenade is going to be the difference they need.
The drop was a bad placement. They should have put it down low.
I agree.
Now you got the shot grenade here every 2 minutes here for the side of Noble. But this time around, Xovios shot. They get 2 kills off rip. Toti was able to respond. Now Lava finds a kill on his 1v1 at E. This is going to get kind of crazy here for Hive because they're going to back up towards their home, get it capped up, because they know that they may have overstayed their welcome after losing a 1v1 mid-map. They're going to lose a few more soldiers as well. The drop shot's over the top. 3 members of Hive here on the home hill, but here comes Noble pushing multiple different angles. 3 on the hill. Will anybody make it in time? They will not. 10-1 series count. Noble closes it out in a dominating fashion. And when you see this team at full power, man, you got to ask yourself, who the hell is going to stop these guys?
I don't know. I'm almost thinking Carnage Gaming might be the one to go ahead and do it. They already upset UYU, but Noble, man, this team is just on fire. And this is kind of what you saw in the beginning weeks. Like we said, they kind of dominated that opposition early. They fell in the second day, but since then they kind of played with subs. They were unable to bring it together. So now that Abolics and Xysho are back in the lineup, they're realistically solidifying what they came here to do. Like I said, we've seen this before. Last time they were playing this good, they took the Pro League by storm. They ended up placing 4th. And then that very next major, they played absolutely insane as well.
Man, they definitely did. They definitely did. So, you know, it's always nice to see Noble and their full roster playing here on a Pro League, and because we get the chance to see series like that. And, you know, I just feel like they win their games more as a team than you know, some of these other squads out here. And I just say that because, you know, you get some great team play out of squads like PK, UIU, and Rise, but I feel like they always have a star shooter in those maps, right? Somebody who takes the game over and the rest of their teammates dot the I's and cross the T's. But Noble as a unit is putting the I's down, they're dotting them, they're doing it all as a 5-man squad. And they get some clean victories, man, from what I've seen with this unit. But ultimately, you know, it was a quick series for Noble here. They're going to take this one 2-0, 10-1 total round count to close us out here on the night. And they are, you know, they look dominant there in that series. All right. We'll get a chance to see them next week.
I think Hive's biggest problem is something you said kind of before the match. If Shock isn't having an MVP perfect style play, they are not going to win. And take note of what I said, Blaze. Shock is taking on 2 games at once. So if your game plan is for Shock to go off, your team strategy is fundamentally wrong. This team, I think, gets some of the least practice as a full 5-man squad. If they want to do anything in Gearries Esports to rise themselves back up to the top of the leaderboards, to be one of the elite teams, they need to get it together. Either that, or maybe make some changes, because you can't have half the team wanting to play. You can't have half the team not wanting to play. You got to be focused, because teams like Carnage Gaming, teams like PK, teams like Vanquish, they want this more than anybody. They have not given up. They have invested everything into this pro league, and it's showing.
You know, we talked when we were reminiscing earlier as we were filling some time about that Mexico City event. You know, we were talking about Hive being in that finals with their squad. And they've been a top 4 team for a long time, but getting over that hump and reaching that next tier of squads that, you know, where we put squads like PK, UIU, and Rising in last season, they have not been able to get there. And it feels like they have just regressed just a bit. And they, like you said, they need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what do we need to do to keep on moving forward and growing as a team. All right. So now let's take this time here to recap all of our matches so far that we have gotten a chance to be blessed with here today. And, you know, Jacob, you know, read these off to us and tell us what stands out to you. What was your favorite matchup to watch, more so to say?
Probably has to be a few of these matches, particularly the third and second to last from the bottom. UIU versus Carnage. 1-2. Carnage upset UIU, the reigning champions, and you can see they're looking more human than ever before, particularly talk about these individual players. On the bottom half of that one, Pittsburgh Knights versus Rebel was one of the other big matchups of the day. 2 round number 9s, and then that tiebreaker map, Pittsburgh Knights, they said we've had enough and shut it out with a 5-0 domination. You see the rest of the results there on screen, Blaze. And the other one I got to go ahead and point out, a big win of the day. You got to give a huge shout out to Fire and Ice upsetting the perfect Vanquish.
Yeah, well, both of our teams that were perfect in a pro league almost took one did, but they both almost took a loss. The Rebel and PK game was a close one. And yeah, it was definitely a close series. It's been close series all across the board. But now let's take a look at our schedule for tomorrow to see which games we'll be seeing. And before we check that, I want you guys to know what the standings are going to be before we hop into that one. All right. Now, take a look at this one. PK sitting at the top of the leaderboard, 6-0. Vanquish right behind them. Fire and Ice, I believe, probably moved up a few spots this week as well. Carnage Gaming, with their victory against UIU, they moved themselves into the top 4. Rise got a victory today to put themselves right behind UIU, and their head-to-head matchup at the end of the season is going to be a crazy one to see who gets the leg up over the next. Rebel, they have played 6 matches in total so far. They are currently 3-3, and then you got Apricity, Noble, Elevate, Hive, and a People's Champ riding out the bottom. That was a big win there for Elevate, and you know, they're going to have to stay playing at this performance to possibly knock down some of those teams above them on this list. Now, let's take a look at the schedule for the games in which we're going to be having tomorrow. And so, do we got Noble up here? This was the schedule for today. It's okay, folks. Don't worry. We got today's matchup for you here. And so, we don't have Noble in these matches, but we do have Rise and Carnage Gaming, which is going to be insane. Fire and Ice versus Hive. Elevate versus Carnage Gaming. A doubleheader for Carnage Gaming, man. Feels good to be the talk of the town. And then we had our match of the week is Vanquish versus UIU.
And I really can't get ready for these matches tomorrow. I'm not going to be casting them. I'm going to have my moment. I'm going to get my snacks. You know me, I love food. I'm going to have like a smorgasbord of things, a banquet. I'm going to have breakfast, lunch, dessert, and all of it ready for this match because I'm going to need my energy. That Rise versus Carnage match is going to be a huge test once again. Carnage was tested today versus UIU, and now it's Rise's time. On the other side, I think Rise is being tested, man. They won today, but I think they escaped what could be a possible loss versus Elevate. And then obviously that bottom match of the week, UIU versus Vanquish. Man, that one's going to be a doozy. Well, how Vanquish has been performing, you know, besides that loss today, they're going up against UIU who just got upset. Will they get upset again? I don't know, Blaze. Only time will tell. And I'm going to have to take the night to really think about my predictions for tomorrow.
I was about to say, I might take a lot of L's in my predictions because I don't know what the hell I want to go. I don't know which way I want to go, okay? I truly don't. The only series, it's only one series on that board that I feel like I'm completely locked in, okay?
Are we on the
my
same
prediction?
Page? On the count
Fire
of 3,
Nice and Hive.
I'm going to say one. Yeah, Fire and Ice.
Okay.
I got to take them.
Fire Nice and Hive. Fire Nice wins that series, okay? Hive can prove me wrong later. I'll take that L if they do so, and I'll be happy to take that L. But They definitely need to make some changes off today's matches and come into tomorrow a lot more serious. But Carnage and Rise, Carnage and Elevate, Vanquish UYU, those three is going to be difficult. Y'all might be catching up to me on predictions. Somebody, but I feel like we all may be wrong in some sense. So depending on where we land.
Wrong today, man. These guys really kept me on my toes. And honestly, the way I was wrong, I'm not even mad. I was entertained the entire time. We got a great, I almost want to call them historic upsets the way Carnage took out UYU.
Yeah, we were all wrong on that one. And so we can be wrong together. All right. Ooh. Oh, man. But what a fantastic day here of Gears of War action, man. Jacob, any closing remarks?
I'm just honestly blessed, happy to be here. Hopefully you guys went out and you did your part. You did go ahead and vote because it's a huge historic moment for us all. Going into the future, we got to be one as a country, realistically. Yep. We're talking about being one as a community here. We got to be one as a country, be unified. So make sure that you guys go ahead and do your part.
Make sure you start in your local communities and do the work there first, okay? Put your mask on before you can put it on for everybody else. But folks, that's going to do it for us here today at the Gears of War Pro League. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tailored Noble Reflections. I gave y'all the whole name, so I might as well tell you, Colin the Crow Clark, a.k.a. T-Virus, is coming in the building. They'll be bringing you guys the casting for tomorrow. But much love to you guys at home for tuning in today for this long broadcast. But hopefully it was entertaining. You guys enjoyed it as much as we did here as well. So have a fantastic night.